2. Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
Hey, I can hear you loud and clear, Coach Jay. On Breakdown Friday.
Break
Quite a move today.
what it
I
was.
hope, I hope our audience had a good day. There was some opportunity today on, on this maybe change in direction Friday, we should call it. But how was your day?
Good day overall. Good day overall. Cannot complain. See on the screen here. I did take a short in the Nasdaq. We'll talk about this trade. Took this trade in the Topstep Combine. Locked it out. I am on that same journey that Baron and Dakota are on right now. With a little restart in trading combines. I have definitely struggled in the year. So just locking in, trying to focus on good trading. Took one trade here, locked it up, traded into personal, and made a decent profit there as well. How was your day, Coach Paul?
Um, Good day. Actually, yesterday I bought some straddles when we were doing our analysis, and
Yep.
they worked out well for me. I didn't trade much, didn't need to make many decisions, so it was a nice day.
Good stuff. That was a little Easter egg you said right before we got off air yesterday. Tomorrow
Yeah,
might be a good day to trade some strangles. So um interesting stuff there. Again,
I should say own strangles.
there you go.
Being
Uh
short strangles would not be good, but
yeah,
some great opportunity today in many different markets.
absolutely. Welcome to At the Buzz, our market recap. If this is your first time here, the goal of this session is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. If this is our first time meeting, I'm Coach Jay. I'm the Top Step Performance Coach since June of 2023, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures trading industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some experiences, some knowledge, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. You are all our audience. Let us know how you did to end the week and to start the month. Want to give a shout out to Nick Richardson in the chat. Says, Coach Jay, I don't know if you remember a couple months back, I blew a 10K XFA without taking a payout. Nick, I do remember that. Just wanted to update you that today I took a 5K payout on my XFA, respecting the profit and market. Nick, that is amazing. Congrats on the payday. Taking 5K out of the markets means you're doing something right. And I like what you said there towards the end, respecting the profit and the market. It's the most important thing we have to remember, right? The we have Dakota was talking about this being a get to do job and not a have to do job when we trade. Coach Paul, I got some audio coming from you.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to turn it off.
Got it. But when we can appreciate the opportunity that the market presents to us, Nick, a lot of things open up, right? And for me, what happens is when I get to a point where I'm taking money out of the markets, it's a real respect and appreciation for the opportunity, and respecting and understanding that the market can take it back as well if I don't stick to a process. So your payout is a testament to you sticking to a process, whether things go right or wrong sometimes, and the market rewarding you for sticking to that process. So great job on that. Don't spend it all in one place. Don't spend it all in one place. But let's take a look. We had a ton of news out today. Today, August 1st, was tariff deadline day. So we know we were going to hear a lot about the T word, but we had some planned numbers out as well. Non-farm payrolls came in at 73,000. Forecast was 104,000. These job numbers, Coach Paul, were horrible. Um, JD talked about the revisions this morning,
Yeah.
and they were even worse, where they were revised down to 12K, I believe, when the prior was 104, which is an insane miss. We made the joke during the opening call. Did the guy that does the crude oil numbers? Did he get a new job? Um, what happened there, Coach Paul?
Well, this is who puts out the numbers, and do they have any skin in the game? Or in other words, do they have a bias? I don't know. If I put on my tin hat, I would say there's some controversy here, but I don't have a tin hat on, and this happens a lot.
Mm,
To this degree, mm, I don't, then that's kind of drastic, but over time, watching economic numbers, the revisions are, to me, at, at times more important than the actual number, of whether, it's an estimation and they get more information. But this one, they revised two of them, right?
yes. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I get
That's,
exactly what the revisions were, but they were like 100K off on both of the numbers that
yeah.
got revised down, which is pretty insane. We got some comments from the president saying that he's going to fire the Bureau of Labor Statistics head after the jobs data that came out because it was weak data. But if we remember, when the jobs data came out a little bit earlier, the ADP number came out, and the ADP number was completely different than what came out
Yes.
from the BLS, and it looks like the ADP number was right. Uh,
Yeah.
and again, that difference was about 150K off. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. I was
Could
going to mention
speculate.
that ADP number, and which is a private number versus a government release number.
Yep.
Whatever the number, they were all bad, um, into a market that was very long, as we talked yesterday, and on a very weak day yesterday, and we'll go further into that. But the last thing this market wanted to see was that kind of number, and it was instant and it was hard. One other thing is, was there news out in Europe? Because this kind of started in Europe.
I'm trying to see. I mean, I think it was tariff escalations, right? We saw overnight there were more tariffs. I'm trying to remember exactly what. There's sometimes so much that happens that you got to write shit down. But I was too busy trading today. Uh, but there were basically more tariff escalations overnight. I know we had some CPI numbers come out of Europe. Um,
Yeah.
but it was tariff stuff. T words all day, which was to be expected. I think a 35% tariff on Canadian products right now. We did hear yesterday that Mexico was getting a 90-day extension. Um, yeah, there's just a lot going on. If you scroll through financial juice, everything is red, which was to be expected. We talked about this yesterday, Coach Paul. Right? We have the known catalyst, which is the jobs data, but then we also have tariff deadline day, and we didn't hear a lot of push towards we're going to make a deal with a bunch of our trade partners. It was the exact opposite. So not surprised to see some of that volatility in the market today.
Yeah, and it was even more. Well, we'll do the analysis, but this wasn't on big volume. This is about the same volume we had yesterday.
Yep. Yes, it was. Let me take these executions off so we can see the charts clearly. But let's get into it. Let's talk about the markets really quick. We got 35 markets we can trade with Top Step accounts today to the downside. We had crude oil down 3%, micro Bitcoin down 3.13%, and heating oil down 4.52% for our biggest percentage mover to the downside. To the upside, we had what's HG? Is that copper? That is copper.
Copper, high
Uh,
grade Capawaya.
a copper wire. Copper up 2.02%. We know copper had that big sell off, maybe just a little bit of short covering here. Platinum up 2.3%. Same thing there. Those alternative metals did have some pretty big sell offs this week. And then we have the Japanese yen up 2.3%. That's the biggest move we've seen in the yen in a long time. Uh, and we're going to talk about that one, Coach Paul. We're going to talk about that one,
Yes,
Coach
we
Paul.
are.
Um, Crude oil down 3%, the S&P down 1.69%, gold up 1.95%, and the Nasdaq, our biggest percentage mover, actually not our biggest percentage mover, crude was, but the Nasdaq down 2.06% to round out our big four. I have a Nasdaq chart up here, Coach Paul. It is the start of the month, the end of the week. Let's pull up a weekly chart. What are we looking at here?
Oof. We have
Yeah.
an engulfing candle. Oh yeah, definitely taking out 2, maybe 3 weeks. Well, that looks very heavy, topish at all-time highs. Correction, yeah, and the weekly is a correction. Um, but it happened mostly yesterday and today. So beginning of the month usually is
Allocation day.
allocation the first week, you know.
Allocating the shorts.
But that looks topish to me for the near term. Let's mark out this week's low and use that as a level for Monday because
This
we and
week's.
I,
Go ahead, Coach Paul.
yeah,
Keep going.
this week's low. Let's mark that out. Uh, We
Uh,
could have a 3-bar reversal.
on the weekly, yeah, yeah. Again, this is the most volume we've seen on the week in a week since April, and
Since the
April was
bottom, yeah.
that turnaround. This is the most volume we've seen in a week. So, uh, is it the top? It is right now, right? We did make a new all-time high, and it did turn around, closing the week down for the first time in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Are healthy pullbacks welcome in uptrending markets? They are, but in uptrending markets, buyers do still need to step in at some point. Um, let's see where that is. We will see where that is. This week's low in the Nasdaq, 22,775. Let's take a look at the daily really quick. We were talking about this yesterday, Coach Paul. We pulled back to the 20 moving average, uh, which was welcome. But again, where
Yep.
are they going to step in? We didn't get quite down to the 50, which was down at 22,563, but a pretty heavy day here.
And look at the volume.
Yep,
Like you said, on the
increasing.
daily, so it's increasing. Can we just on down days, can we make an assumption that this is liquidation?
Yes.
Um, we can make we don't actually know, but technically we can make the assumption that it's liquidating off of all-time highs and not finding any buyers. In 2 days, as we saw on that weekly, we took out 3 weeks worth of buying at all-time highs. As we've talked all the way up here, this is like it- every it's very weak buying.
Yep.
So and here so far, this is healthy for the longer term run. To me, next one is the 50-day moving average. Should tell us this
22,563.
if we're going to maintain a bull uptrend market.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. Real quick, I'm gonna plug this right in the middle. I'm on Instagram now, guys. I'm becoming an influencer.
All
Can
right.
guys can do me a favor?
Oh,
I'm at 69 followers right now, so maybe we could just keep it here. But that wouldn't be great for growth of this account. So if you guys can do me a favor, follow me over there on Instagram. I'll post some reviews of my trades. I posted some of the trades that I took in a personal account today, uh, and we'll try to do a little bit more of that over there. But if you can hit the follow button over there, we'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Uh,
oh, you're gonna make me open up an Instagram
we're
account,
gonna
aren't you?
turn Coach Paul into an influencer, whether he likes it or not.
All
Uh,
right. Dragging and screaming.
yep. Let's take a look, Coach Paul, at last night's action. We were talking yesterday about the heavy close yesterday, and we
Mhm.
have a continuation of that. This move, like you said it, it started early. Uh, it started
Yeah.
early.
And well, think about that move we had yesterday after all-time highs. But we had them once again. What are the biggest spikes in volume? The sell side, and it's not recovering.
Yep.
Um, what does that mean? Well, coach, what's your bid? Let's throw
Uh,
out a bid.
I got 100 on 200.
So you want to pay 100 for 200? I'll sell you 500, and you only take 200, and now I go under you and offer another 500.
Yep.
What you're stuck, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm looking for 100 points to the upside. Stop selling to me.
So now I force you lower, so we get. That's when you get these kind of candles with volume.
Yep.
There's big selling that isn't taken out, and then it has to then rotate lower, and we're seeing that. That is the blueprint of liquidation.
100%.
Um, and look where we finished. These are the lows of the week.
Mhm. 2 days in a
I
row where
mean,
we're ending the day on the low.
so as we started last night, we couldn't find any responsive buying, any bargain hunting. And not only that, what we had great number, I considered good numbers for for earnings.
Right.
They
Yes, we did.
weren't
We yeah, we
negative. If I'm, they were positive, right?
yeah, Amazon and Apple numbers were pretty good.
Okay, I wasn't dreaming.
Yeah.
Uh,
Coach Paul, you know what surprised me coming into, because a lot of times what we will have when we know we have, these bigger numbers, whether if it's FOMC, CPI, any inflation data, usually NFP, a lot of times we'll see consolidation in the overnight session before the number, right? Because the market is waiting. The market did not wait at all. Where we were down almost a percent before we even got the NFP print.
yeah, and it started in Europe. And then let's see, let's frame out the European Open. So this is tariff day, I
Yes, it
think.
is. Yep.
Did it get
Tariff
moved?
deadline day. Nope. Got moved from
Okay.
Mexico, I guess.
Now, once again, and this is Europe comes in, volume comes in. What kind of volume? Selling volume, not taken out, and we have urgency. Once again, I'll use that example. I sold, Coach J bid for 200 lots. I give him 500. Then I offer more. And now Coach J is stuck and I'm pushing it. That's what's in a nutshell what happens in these kind of days.
Yep,
Mm.
100%. Uh, MM877, tired of BS when nobody knows. We don't pretend to know here. I don't know who your messages are directed at. Coach Paul, you ever say that you know anything for sure in these markets?
I think we've said it many times in my
I don't know
mantras.
shit.
I
I don't know
I don't.
shit. Here we go.
Well,
I don't know
there we
shit.
go. I
There you
don't
go.
know
You want that?
shit.
Clip that up. I don't know shit.
I don't know
Uh,
shit.
but but we can make assumptions about where we think the market is going to go. Um,
Well, it's
and
called
that's all we do.
reading the market. I
Right.
call it read and react trading. We're reviewing, but there's in this review we look for certain patterns that happen with a g- with an ability to put together a trading plan that has an edge over time. The problem when you veer from that, and like you said, I mean, it's a good point that you think we know. The moment you think you know, you're in trouble because then you can get attached to being right.
Yep.
And my motto is you don't have to be right; you have to trade right.
100%.
So part of our show and working with Coach Jay, and I'm a little older, and you can teach a old dog new tricks. Is Coach Jay is very good in volume analysis, and part of our show, and we've done this for what 2 years now, almost
Yeah.
with Discord. Yeah,
Yep.
um, is with volume, and from my experience, and I think it's a basic tenet of all markets. Volume leads direction. An
Agreed.
imbalance is caused by an imbalance of what? Price or volume?
Uh,
Think about that.
volume, volume for sure. I don't think price can be imbalanced. Price is just a
It's
marketing
an
tool,
yeah,
an
well,
advertisement.
it's an advertisement. Yeah, it's a marker.
Yep.
It's a marker for how many you bought from me, and you don't want any more, and I'm selling more. We have an imbalance that's going to move a market. That's what we call urgency. So yeah, no, I don't know, but as I read the market and I read volume and direction, I can react in a way that helps me.
So, all right. Let's take a look. We talked about this yesterday as well. Um, I do want to show, one execution that I have here. Again, I don't know anything, right? I just go off of probabilities. But we talked. a little bit yesterday before we got off and saying one of the things that we've shown on this show a couple of times is framing out the news candle gives us an opportunity to take a trade based on the market's reaction to that news. We know that this NFP print has the potential to inject some volume into the markets. And this trade I took here, just for a quick little scalp, again, it was the only trade on this account for the day. Why did I take this trade? We have the 3 minute news candle, 23 145 at the highs, 23.62 half at the lows. And the same way we do any other high volume candle for the day, I want to attach a VWAP to that and see how the volume responds. A lot of times, Coach Paul, what happens is we get that volume on the initial spike. I let the dust settle. We can see I'm not taking this trade until 12 minutes after the print. But when that volume dies out, where we get the print and usually we wait for the volume to step in for the New York session, uh, in my experience, is usually good for a pretty good scalp. You can see where I took this short, 23 145, as we were accepting back inside this news candle. And I'm not looking for a whole lot here. We got back down to VWAP from the news, and I took the trade off. Quick 20-point scalp. It's something that I look to do anytime we have one of these big news prints. Some traders try to figure out how to trade this. I just don't have a great experience doing it. But looking at this trade where that volume failed, if this volume was to push up, chat, you guys know, hopefully I'm not looking for a short. But because this volume stayed in the middle of this range, decent short opportunity. And in hindsight, could have held it all day. But of course, I don't know shit. So I'm just going to go with what the market is presenting to me in real time and then wait for the volume to step in a little bit later. And I'm gonna stop cursing now before Topstep kicks me off forever. Uh,
Potty mouth.
you guys want the real J? Here we go.
There we go.
All right.
No, what is that? This is actually a great way to read too the news candle
Yeah.
because it 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 gives you a clue. And like we said, I'm going to reiterate, in volume, we had a high volume that couldn't sustain the upward movement. I'm reading that. If I want to buy it, I want a better reason. I don't want to buy with weak buyers. Why is it weak buying? Because volume is not following through.
Correct.
VWAP never leaves that range of that candle. We could use it. By the way, I saw the voting this morning. People prefer the 5 minute. We could use the 5 minute here. We
Good.
could use the 1 minute.
Yep. Yeah, we could switch it out. It's the same concept, right? Regardless of the time frame. In any time frame, we're not seeing buyers step up. I mean, if we zoom out far enough, we are, right? If we look at it daily, but in the day trading time frame, there was never a point today where buyers really stepped in outside of maybe some short covering moves. We had a nice long here off this low.
Yeah.
Highest volume outside of the open, closed outside. That's a great trade. Uh,
It's also a great cover for shorts.
oh yeah, yeah, yep. Coach Paul, you say it all the time. When you see this, if I'm short, that might be it for the day. And look at we do this all the time. Hopefully, to turn hindsight into a real time read. The market respected this level for the rest of the day. We did have that one spike below it, but sellers had to stop at some point, and it was right around this 22,800 level. We came down here. We did run it by 20 points, but that's the Nasdaq. It's going to do that, and the market did respect this zone once it printed. Right, so somebody is trying to step in and hold the market up here. Uh, so just
All
marking
right.
out these levels give us an opportunity. Go ahead, Coach Paul.
It could be a case of selling stopped.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
it stopped. And when it stopped, we ran up. Little different than being accumulated, because why I consider this whole day liquidation is, look, by reading the volume, we have less and less volume, but price really never recovered or from that opening. Um, and so if this was good buying, like if there was prices down there that got absorbed by larger institutions, this market would have turned around and made new highs. We didn't see that because For an institutions to do that, we'd have to have much more volume than this. We'd have volume spikes on buying.
Yes.
Um, so um, that's really the signature of the day.
Yep.
So
You want to run through the other equities real quick? I know we
yeah.
spent a little bit of time here, but let me get questions off of here. Let's take a quick look at the S&P on a daily as well. Looks like even a little bit heavier, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, same thing here. Quick run through. Let's take a look at the Russell. We kind of knew that was going to happen. Shouldn't say
The
new. We didn't know anything
Rusty.
was going to happen, but this did not look good yesterday.
Yeah, even when it never rallied. Let's take a quick look at the 30.
Started in London. We see that London spike. A little bit
Oh,
of selling in Asia, but that London spike, man, they really got this thing going. And we do all this analysis. We still have to place trades at the end of the day. We don't get to see the charts like this. So what we try to do is, what signature is there or potential for the day? And we start with the daily, higher time frame. This market is yesterday we tested that 200 moving average. Today we're trading around it. This doesn't look good. Coach Paul, you looked at this market yesterday, and I believe the first thing you said was, ugh. Uh,
yeah.
that
Tr-
doesn't lean towards wanting to buy it right now. Maybe you don't sell it, but staying out of a long is a winning trade in this situation where, regardless of what my bias is, the market does not agree right now and is selling it.
Sometimes and with that, it's hard to sell a market this morning when, like you said, we were already down 1%, weren't we? I mean, we're
Yeah, we were. Yeah, by the time we opened up in the Nasdaq, we were down, and even in the Russell, right, we were down almost 1.5% on the New York Session Open. That is a hard trade to take. It's a hard trade to take. Dan Emmons had shared a stat and said we went like 25 days in the S&P and the Nasdaq without a 1% move.
it
So
was
to
a record.
right, so then to think again, it's a really hard trade to take, and we don't want to make it seem like this is the easiest thing to do. What would tell me that after 25 days, we see a 2% down day in the NASDAQ? What's the likelihood of it, right? These are low probability trades, but they do show up every once in a while. And I think we just have to try to be prepared for it um, and just go with the flow of the market instead of saying, hey, we're down 1%. So it hasn't happened in 25 days. We should bounce. 25 days in the like the grand scheme of the market is a small sample size still as well, right, Coach Ball? Right, where we have days that are huge, and we just have to somehow prepare for it. And again, it may not mean that you caught any of this short, but if you didn't buy it, um, that's a winning trade.
Like I said, read and react.
Yep.
We do that in basketball. Like athletes read and react, and they practice. In practice? What are you You're reading when you're running plays. What are you're making decisions under pressure. The best athletes make great decisions under pressure. Why? Because they're magical? No, because they with experience, they see patterns, they execute under pressure and make great decisions. That's what we're trying to do as traders. It's the same mindset.
Same mindset. Who was
We
it
were remember when we first started this, we were going to call this in the getting in the gym,
in the gym? Yeah.
something on the yeah,
Yep.
um, getting in the gym,
That's what this
practicing.
is. That is what this is. I believe it was JFR yesterday said if we're going to see a sell off in the equities, does money come into gold as the safe haven asset? And we said, I
Very
said this
good.
yesterday. So hopefully you took your trade because you read this way better than me, and this is a perfect sign of I don't know anything. But the correlation matrix said that there is no correlation. There was a correlation today. What happened in gold here?
You didn't get it. It was hard to get a chance to buy it.
Yeah,
It was. Let's look at a 1 minute on that. Now look, we went back to the 50 and the 20. Still not recovered fully.
yeah, on the daily. And we did talk about this, right? We had this trend line. Let's go back a little bit. We had this trend line on the year. We broke it to the downside. We were talking about, hey, is this a change of structure? But we
Uh,
never really got a retest. Go ahead, Coach Paul.
well, we talked about the retest is the most important.
Yep.
So let's watch this. If it can reclaim that trend line, oh wow! But it hasn't.
Hmm.
Um, but we went. Look at that. We went right to it where we
Yep.
kind of closed.
Yeah.
Um,
We had a question here from JD in the chat, Coach Paul. We're seeing a technical shift in the markets, talking about the Nasdaq here. Are we seeing a fundamental shift as well?
Good question. Um, I don't think 2 days make a fundamental shift.
Hmm.
I think it takes more data and than that, but I'd say it's a higher probability right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
because of the speed of it. And we've been waiting for while the reaction to the tariffs, we recovered, right? Now we're back into the mix. So it could be. I mean, I think it's a higher probability, much higher than it was just yesterday, because
Yep.
we've had follow through buying. But, that's why we don't get complete information ever,
Yeah. Nope.
ever. And the moment we start thinking we have complete information, then we
They
go
revise
into
it.
of saying we know things.
Yeah. He revised that information. Andrew says no fundamental change. The markets are still crazy. Let's take a look at gold on a shorter time frame because really, uh, there was consolidation overnight, and the market did wait for that jobs data. Um, pretty consolidated. A couple scalps here, maybe in the overnight, but the real move came in a half an hour on that jobs data. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. We
Oh,
took the vote this morning on the opening range trade, whether or not to take the 1 minute, the 3 minute, or the 5 minute opening range. Chat said the five, and we take the trade. And my memory is uh, got to take
I
some.
don't think you did.
I don't think we did. I don't think we did take it. So we talked about it, right? Do we want to hold a position into this number because of the potential it has to move the market? So the 1 minute opening range would have triggered a long. The hindsight capital analyst in me says that we would have put our stop down here. And I don't think that's bad stop placement, right? If we look at this pivot here, if we took the long and went below here, that was a hell of a trade on a 3 minute opening range. It would have triggered a long as well. On a 5 minute opening range, which the chat voted for, it would have triggered a short, which would have gotten stopped out. So this kind of goes to show you you know, there's an argument about time frames, right? Which is the best time frame to use and things like that. I think the idea is to keep it to the same. This example here, to me, is a perfect argument for the person that says time frames don't matter, right? There's traders that say time frames don't matter, right? The market doesn't move based on time; it moves on volume. This is that because on a 5 minute trade, you got a completely different trade, and you get stopped out. The volume said we're going up. And maybe it didn't happen until that print, but you know, like Coach Paul just said, it was hard to buy this because it just kept rallying.
Yeah, that was on a price on a price basis. So on a price basis, it was hard. On a volume basis, I guess not. Now I love this discussion about your time frames. You have to be comfortable in your time frames, and you have to be consistent.
Yep.
And now I could go make an argument as time is irrelevant. There are people who don't, and I, c- I understand their point because time is relative. You know,
Yep.
um, not to quote Einstein. Um, Depends on who your relatives are, but other than that, volume matters because without it, if there was no volume, when I mean zero volume,
Yeah.
price would go sideways.
Yep.
It wouldn't move. So, um, coming into it, whatever your time frame that you're comfortable, whether it's 1 minute, two, I've seen people with 2 minute, 8 minute candles of Fibonacci. Um, but one thing I always look when I use those opening is the two ATRs risk. That's the way I look at it. So if I take the 3 minute, the 1 minute, or the 5 minute, whatever, or the 10 minute, I my risk comes. I measure the risk through the average true range of that time frame. That way, if I see it and it's more than I'm willing to lose, I either have to have a smaller position or not take the trade.
Coach Ray said it in the chat here, right? Stay consistent, whatever time you
Y-
choose, right? And that's exactly what we're talking about here. And
Coach, we can't hear you.
oh, I'm on mute. My bad. And I was going off
Uh,
right there. I was going off.
can you go back and review your going off?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it
yeah.
looked good. I was reading some of those.
Uh, yeah. So we player said finally some peace and quiet. So whatever time frame you decide to use, right, keep it consistent because you're going to get different results. If you try to switch between a 1, 3, and 5 to try to find the perfect one, they're going to give you winning trades and losing trades, right? I think what's most important is if I do switch and I go to a 5 here and I miss out on this trade and I normally take a 1, the response afterwards says a lot more about you as a trader than catching this trade, right? If you normally take a 1 minute and you took a 5 and got stopped out on a short, and then the market spikes up like this and you stay stuck in that short bias because my signal gave me short, so I should go short, you could lose your whole account and more trying to continue to short this, right? Pay attention to what the market says and accept when you're wrong. Like Coach Paul was just saying, two ATRs, I accept the risk. There are going to be times where it works out and times where it doesn't. The response to a 30-point rip in 5 minutes says a lot about maturity as a trader and saying, hey, you know what? That's what I decided on. The market disagreed in this time frame. I'll take it the next time the same way. Um, and what a rally in gold.
Yeah. Now, like looking forward, in gold is at a, a really important level. I don't think it can withstand any weakness,
Yeah.
and because not only well, we'll go through that. Currencies that made big moves too.
Yes, they did.
Um,
Want to take
and
a look at the
crude
yen?
oil. Let's take a quick look at the yen,
Take a
which
look at the
has
daily.
been getting clobbered.
Yeah, it has.
Um, Last week we got under the 200. We've been plunging until today. Now, I myself am looking to sell the yen. But I am that's I'm on today.
Hmm.
Now, I actually didn't have a trade. I didn't take a trade. But let's look at the half hour and see what happened from last night.
Everything moved on that print.
Yeah.
uh,
This is very yeah.
here's last night's open. Let me clear this up a little bit. Last night's open right here.
Yep.
It set the low, pretty close to it.
But we couldn't volume even on those it was trading in price in those candles, but volume wasn't doing anything. It was even. There was no imbalance.
Yep.
Um And boy, even if I took that sell, let's just see, let's just do this because I'm bearish. And yesterday I'd kill it, right?
Yeah.
Today I'm looking to sell it. I have to limit my loss. We talk about risk, measuring your risk. You have to have a process for measuring your risk every time you decide to take a trade, not after you get in.
Yeah.
Don't do it. So here, if I take that breakout on the price on the low with that big yellow candle in the middle of that last night's range, all right.
Are you saying a
What,
short here?
yeah, short there at the low. Let's just say at the low because I got a little greedy.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna go. We're breaking down.
Now, if I use two ATRs, what's the ATR?
79. So,
So 8 cents, eight
yep.
ticks, 16 ticks of risk. That's $150.
Bed.
And I'm dead ass wrong. I mean, dead wrong.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. Completely wrong. Accept it.
Now, if I stay in waiting for God to help me, and he's on the other side, by the way, he bought it all.
Yeah. Both hands.
How much is it?
Buying
That's
it with
about
both
a
hands.
$1,500 loss.
Yeah, it's a 2% move, right? The yen was one of our biggest percentage movers to the upside today. So you were wrong. That's okay.
So with measuring that risk, I can be wrong. I give back yesterday was the complete opposite. I can't, I have to have it. My risk reward has to be positive over time for me. If unless you have some incredible, if it's 1 to 1, you better have a high percentage. But even that said, I wouldn't expect a move like this in the end. But you know what? We talked about it yesterday. This is where the news comes in, or knowing, being aware of the context of the markets. Number one, we have the big unenjoyment number, we used to call it. Um, Number two, tariff day.
Yep.
Those are major events. Now, with that said, there's no complete. I don't know. I take that sell, I lose $150, and I'm a winner.
Yeah. Stop was in the right spot. Exactly where you needed it
So
to be.
I'll bring up an old debate I used to have with friends of mine and traders, and it was, who's a better trader on a day like today? Someone who made $250 in the yen buying it,
Right.
or someone who lost 150 selling it, or we'll make it even. I would say the better trader over time is the one who lost 150 and stopped.
100%. We just got a comment in the chat. We aren't traders, we're risk managers, right? So that the trader who lost the 150, that's a risk manager.
Yep. And that's where your consistency can come. So if you have an edge, you have to manage the edge.
Yep.
An edge comes over time. It doesn't come day to day as much as we wish it to happen. Um, it doesn't.
Yeah. I
But
want to give a shout out to, speaking of edge, Coach Paul. I don't know if you watched Fast Markets this morning, but Chike.
it, it,
Chike
yeah,
Chike is going to be on Topstep TV a decent amount. He's young too. Andre asked him how old he was. He's 22 years old. Taking about 50K in payouts from Topstep already. Been trading futures for a couple of years. And talking about an edge, he had so much of an edge he didn't want to share the sauce for his trades. He's just like very protective over what he's doing. And hey, I respect it. You know, we have people in chat and it's like, oh, you know, you're not that important to the markets. Hey, if I believe something is going to help me out and I don't want to share it all, shout out to Rips. We've had Rips on Topstep TV before, and he said, you know what? Some things you got to keep to yourself. Chike with an amazing call, and you can tell how focused he is, Coach Paul, on trading his edge, and nothing else matters.
nothing else mattered to him. I really liked watching him.
Yeah,
Um, He has a process. He's very unemotional. Actually, he had a smile on his face while he was trading.
Yeah,
No, but like he's, I love him. He's just like he follows his process. He
yep,
doesn't have too many distractions.
yeah. Yeah, it was awesome to watch, right? And somebody that young, just that locked into a process. He said he was a math guy, so it makes a lot of sense. Uh, where men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And that is Chike's approach. It's all math at the end of the day, so you really got to appreciate that. Let's take a look at crude oil, Coach Paul. We had a pretty big sell off in crude. We've seen crude a little bit of a rally, maybe some short covering. Coach Ray, shout out to the math guys. Uh, as a math
Yeah.
guy himself, uh, what happened in crude here?
Right back down. We said we had that little bit of a rally there. Um, Weak economic news. We're right back down to the 20-day moving average. It was a little overdone. I'm surprised it broke this hard. But, when we have large movement in equities and metal in many different markets, liquidation happens in other markets. This one, I think it was pure economic, weak, possibly weak economies. You don't want to be long energies, but we had that it needed to break the high of the day of the high of the move, and it didn't. What we did was break that low early, and then it just
Yesterday's
picked
low,
up
yeah.
steam. It was like a rolling stone, and it gathered no moss on the way down.
Oh,
So there it is, right there, the
really
200.
nice.
Go ahead.
Got under that. Yeah, got under that 200 moving average on the 30 minute. And just liquidation from there. We talked about it yesterday. This $70 level in crude, is it going to hold? Are we going to find some buyers up here? And we just didn't. We know how much this market loves to be in a consolidation in a range on a higher time frame, and this is just adding to that picture there. Um, Christian has a comment here. Great breakdown of today and the week, coaches. Very tough week. FOMC, NFP, unemployment claims, jolts, tariffs. There was a lot going on this week, and I think we said it early on, either at the end of last week or early on this week on Monday. Monday was a pretty quiet day, right? So we said, hey, you know what? There's going to be opportunities coming up. Dakota and I talked about it during slow markets, right? On weeks like this, where again, we don't know anything, but we have the idea that there's potential volatility coming up. Um, if it was a tough week for you, especially early on because you were trying to force opportunities, take a look at this week when you review and see what days actually led to, asymmetric opportunities in these markets. Were there trades available in the equities on Monday? There were. When we look back, and what I like to think about is when I'm in the moment trading, right? What would Jay, who goes and backtest, say about this day, right? When we go back and backtest, we use what would we do, Coach Paul? Oh yeah, I got to figure out a way to sell it at this high and then buy it at this low, right? We don't look at this type of day, right? We don't look at this 30-minute candle and like, yeah, I need to sell it at this high and buy it at this low. We really don't do that. So when the market is presenting that to you in real time, and again, the equities did that early on. Crude oil does that on a couple of days, and then we have a great day like this. Think about that in real time, and to me, it helps me be patient and say, "Hey, if it's not presenting a great opportunity to me today, I don't have to take a trade." The markets aren't going to always stay consolidated this way, and wait for those opportunities because then it does pay off, right? So I guess, uh, long story short, refresh page. Why are we refreshing the page? What are you talking about? What page am I refreshing? Uh, but yeah, patience, patience. Long-winded way to say patience.
Patience is a virtue, but I don't have the time. I got to make money now. Sell it.
Yeah.
If you've ever been capped, I have. Like that's what. That's why finding a process,
Yep.
understanding that you have to find some edge and execute that. and you can find it and do it consistently, you have a chance. Um, because then it becomes non-random over time. It's random in the short term.
Yep.
And I mean short term, just over a couple weeks is short term. In
Oh yeah,
trade, I mean very short term.
yeah, for sure. Any other markets you want to talk about, Coach Paul? We got a couple minutes left here. It is a Friday. Any other markets you want to talk
Let's
about?
let's just look at Bitcoin.
On the
It is,
daily, looking like the equity markets and kind of
it
like gold. Gold before the rally we just had today. Go ahead.
yeah, it looks, but looks a lot like the equities.
Hmm.
I've said this before. It's becoming institutionalized. It's very moving much like equities. Excuse me, had a top that was similar to gold.
Yep.
Um, but looks like we're going early next week. We'll test that 50. It's got to hold that 50. Um, but it got some liquidation this week quietly.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of an ugly move today. I would have thought gold with gold making its move, this would have done the same. It didn't. Um, that's on the radar. I'm not telling to say that, that 50-day moving average is going to be very important coming into next week.
Yeah. Um, all right, we got some questions for you, Coach Paul, and I have a question for you as well. We'll talk a little bit about it. Adele Trader wants to know, do you? And my question kind of is a follow to this one. Do you have an idea about the long-term holding inventory management of big institutions when the overall market is bullish and making a correction or otherwise?
Yeah, good question. Now, when I say large term institution, if anyone here has a 401k, goes
All they do is
who
buy.
manages it? Yeah, in your choices for your 401k, does it say there's not many there for selling, right? It's for price appreciation over time. That's institutions. So there's a simple allocation, like we're going to allocate whatever monies come in into the S&P index. A hedge fund a little different. They're supposed to be long and short. Mm, that's that's debatable, but they're supposed
Right.
to beat the average. Now there are institutionals. They can get short, so they're a little different, but they're not as big. Believe it or not, they're a smaller player in this. The big institutions are there to buy stocks on a mass, and that's why when bear market rallies end really quick. It's a great question. Now they're allocating the bigger ones, your big Blackstone, or BlackRock, all the big players. They're in there taking customers' money to buy exposure to equities, or equities go up. Now they'll always buy. What happens is this: if there's liquidation, and maybe this is the crux of your question. Who the hell is getting short? Well, hedge funds, right?
Yeah.
It could be executives of companies. They see things they're not supposed to do it,
Yeah.
but they can get in and start liquidating some stocks, insider selling, um, or here futures funds can get leverage and get short.
So you just mentioned something, Coach Paul, about hedge funds. My question I want to ask you, I don't know if you heard, but Ray Dalio sold his remaining stake in
Wow,
Bridgewater,
yeah.
stepping away from the hedge fund. Talking about the concerns about the debt in the U.S. Made a recommendation to allocate 15% to gold and Bitcoin. We do have the micro Bitcoin chart up here. Uh, what do you think about that? What do you think? We just talked about
He's
allocation of hedge funds and things like that. He's out, right? The
he's
fund
out.
that he started sold all of it.
Well, Ray is By the way, he started in the futures industry.
Hmm.
Um, and he blew out too.
Yeah.
You ever have a chance to read his book, Principles? Read it. It's a very good read. Um, Principles. Um, but he's been hinting at this for a couple years. But
Mm.
I didn't see it. I was actually taken aback. I was watching Fast Markets or your
Yeah.
show this morning, and I'm kind of stuck. He's actually doing it, and look what the reaction of the overall market, whether that came in, that was concerning because
Yeah.
he is one of the most successful, if not, he's in the top three of all time.
Mm.
He's has the largest hedge fund.
Yeah.
He's personally doing that.
Yep.
Yeah, I found that
Interesting.
concerning, and
Yeah,
more
for
I
sure.
was concerning. He's been preaching this, and what I like about his style is he really researches stuff to the nitty gritty. Um, that's he's been making the case, especially with the debt. Um, so we'll see. I found that very concerning. He's a man of his word. He's leaving the United States. Wow.
Yeah, s- that's big. That's big. All right. We are pretty close to time, Coach Paul. Any other markets you want to talk about? We went through a decent amount here, or any final words before we go into the weekend?
Some final words. It's always on it. It's a weekend. Recharge. Don't go and review it. It's take an hour of some slow time. Oh, and review your trades individually. If you don't have time to review them, you're trading too much. It's another thing. I don't. We don't
Yeah.
talk about. Well, I don't have that time. Whether you're trading too much, but you start developing like when I started doing that, I'm like, who is this person who made these trades? That's not what I would wanted to do. And over time, you started coming in as like, okay, I have to follow some plan and have a check off.
Yep.
There's value to do it. Don't spend your whole weekend. Enjoy life. By the way, when I die, markets will continue. They were here before I was born.
Yep.
No, they don't.
You're way after.
But refresh yourself. Take a break. Enjoy your weekend, and come in ready for next week with some type of plan to approach a plan that has an edge over time, and enjoy yourself.
Well said, Coach Paul. I got nothing to say after that. Chat, thank you as always for joining us every day that you do. Remember, the 1 year anniversary of At the Buzzer is coming up pretty soon. Keep that in mind. Thank you all for joining. If you haven't done so already, hit
Yes.
that thumbs up button. Coach Hoop is still doing his class in Discord in about 15 minutes or so. Enjoy your weekends. We will see you next week. Andrew, thank you as always for helping us run this session.
Thank you,
See you next
Andrew.
week. Bye.
Bye.